American rapper and record producer Craig Jamieson Mack was born on May 10, 1970, in the Bronx, New York, and raised in Long Island. He would begin rhyming as a child, then as a teenager, he would begin going by the name MC EZ and form a rap group called MC EZ Troup. They signed with a small New York City-based independent label and released just one single called Just Rhymin', Get Retarded in 1988. Luckily, Craig had become good friends with Eric Sermon, one half of Long Island hip-hop duo EPMD, while growing up in the same neighborhood. So he jumped at the chance to go on tour with them as a roadie. Since EPMD knew how much Craig wanted to make it on the rap scene, they originally intended to bring him into the fold of the Hit Squad, a collective of East Coast hip-hop artists, including Redman, Keith Murray, and Das FX, just to name a few. Unfortunately, EPMD called it quits in 1993, leaving Craig out in the cold. Craig's manager, Alvin Toney, began sending out his demos to various labels, hoping to get an offer. All they got was a bunch of rejections. Alvin, though, had a connection that he took full advantage of. He knew the talent director at one of the major labels in the city and arranged for Craig to do an impromptu audition for him at a nightclub one evening. That talent director from Uptown Records was none other than Sean Puff Daddy Combs. Puff liked what he heard so much that he arranged for Craig to get on a remix of a song called You Don't Have to Worry, a track by another artist he was helping to develop at the time, R&B soul singer Mary J. Blige. Not too long after that, Puff was fired from Uptown. Now was as good a time as any for him to strike out on his own. Enter Bad Boy Records. Eventually, Craig signed a record deal with Bad Boy, and he was off and running. In July 1994, Craig dropped the track he would become best known for, called Flavor in Your Ear.
You won't be around next year, my rap's too severe, kicking mad flavor in your ear.
The remix of the single, which was even more popular, featured fellow rappers LL Cool J, Rampage, Busta Rhymes, and the breakout appearance of another up-and-coming bad boy artist by the name of the Notorious B.I.G. The single peaked at number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100 and soared all the way to number 1 on the rap chart, staying there for 14 straight weeks. It also received a Grammy Award nomination for Best Rap Solo Performance the following year. Interestingly enough, Craig had to be forced to make the song by Puff since he originally didn't like the beat. The success of Big's debut album, Ready to Die, released exactly 7 days before Craig's debut album, Project Funk the World, dropping in September of that year, greatly overshadowed his early success on the label. Was Craig used to push Big's career? Anything is possible, but it is interesting that Big would later claim that he didn't even like Craig, and the only reason he was featured on the Flavor in Your Ear remix was because Puff asked him to. It was strictly a business move since Puff promoted the two artists simultaneously. The album's second single, called Get Down, which came out at the end of the year, also became a top 40 hit and achieved gold status. Then things got weird. Puff did an interview in 1994 on MTV's music video show Yo MTV Raps. Craig and Big were also present. Puff claimed that he was working with Craig on his second album, and he expected it to be released sometime in January the following year, which didn't end up happening. Viewers can see a confused look come over Craig's face as he listened to Puff clearly tell a bold-faced lie.
I'm sure you got much things in store for my man.
Yeah, definitely. We got a new album we're working on him to drop in January. Besides that, we about to just drop our R&B stuff.
The Puff Daddy album.
At this point, it was obvious things weren't copacetic between the two. Years later, Puff's former bodyguard would reveal that things really started going downhill after Craig changed management. Puff made it clear that Craig had to get rid of his manager or he would get rid of Craig. Craig refused, and that was the end of his time with Bad Boy. In a twist of irony, one of the most notable lyrics in Flavor in Your Ear was a dig at other rappers in which he declares, "You won't be around next year." The line proved to be strangely prophetic. After Craig's departure from Bad Boy, music executive Suge Knight came calling. He wanted to sign Craig to his Death Row East label to be run by Eric B., one half of the hip-hop duo Eric B. and Rakim. Craig, however, turned down the offer.
Any artist out there want to be an artist and want to stay a star, and don't want to have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the videos, all on the record, dancing. Come to Death Row.
He did release a second album, Operation Get Down, with another label in 1997, but none of the singles charted. Over the years, Craig and Puff must have hashed things out and come to some sort of an understanding, since Craig would make a surprise cameo appearance in the music video for Puff's song I Need a Girl Part 1 in 2002. That same year, in an interview with MTV, Craig would confirm just that. "I don't regret leaving the label. I'm just glad that I'm with my family. What happened in 94 and 95 happened in 94 and 95, and it must have happened for a reason. So to see everything come back together now is just a good thing and a blessing." Me and Puff both agree. We don't care what happened in the 90s. We're looking at it like this is the new millennium. New things is happening. In the same interview, he also mentioned being close to signing a new recording contract with Puff and looking forward to getting into the studio the following week. None of that happened, but at least this time, Craig would be used to the disappointment. No other music was heard from Craig until 2006 when he released a single called Mack Tonight. Then, Craig disappeared. He wouldn't be heard from again until 2012 when a video of him was leaked on YouTube where he said he had joined a Christian ministry, surprising family members and fans. He had joined the Overcomer Ministry located in Walterboro, South Carolina. In the video, Craig also said he was doing, quote, wickedness in New York and, quote, righteousness in South Carolina. It's a secluded Christian commune that some former members have described as a cult. He also purchased property on their compound in 2017. Craig lived on the property with approximately 70 other people in a mobile home community. They maintained a farm for their food and also had a school for the children. Everyone lived their life 100% of the time in the compound. No one ever left for any reason. Followers were even told, allegedly, to object to all medical intervention and avoid the care of doctors. Unfortunately, this was bad advice for someone like Craig, whose health began deteriorating. It's been said that no one is forced to stay a member of the church indefinitely. If someone wants to leave, they can do so at any time. Craig's name could now be added to the ever-growing list of former bad boy artists that turned to religion. Rappers Mace, Loon, and Shine all decided to take a variety of spiritual paths away from the hip-hop world after leaving the label. The Overcomer Ministries YouTube channel released a video titled Craig Mack Testimony in May 2016, in which Craig appears in the middle of the church to rap about Christianity. The song also mentions that he moved his family to South Carolina, which didn't align with other reports of his family expressing concerns for his choices. That sentiment probably also explains why Craig turned down Diddy's, formerly Puffy, offer to join the Bad Boy Reunion Tour in 2016. During this period, Craig's music was released in the form of a mixtape in November 2012, titled Operation Y2K, as well as the album The Mack World Sessions in 2017, which contained 18 previously unreleased tracks. Overcomer Ministry leader, Brother Ralph Gordon Stair, who was 84 at the time, was considered a prophet by some, including Craig. However, his extracurricular activities painted a different picture. He was arrested in 2017 and was charged with numerous accounts, including kidnapping, burglary, and criminal sexual misconduct with a minor. Allegedly, he's had a history of being a serial sexual assaulter, rapist, and pedophile. He's also been accused of manipulating his followers and defrauding some members out of hundreds of thousands of dollars. Several months after moving on to the Overcomer compound, Craig died on March 12, 2018, in a hospital in Walterboro, South Carolina, from congestive heart failure. He was 47 years old. The year before his death, Craig invited his friend and former manager, Alvin Toney, to his home for an in-depth interview, which would turn out to be his last. It was obvious that Craig was dying. He was struggling to breathe at times and walked with a cane. It was revealed in the interview why Craig disappeared from New York and the music scene altogether years ago. Craig told the story of how he felt used and disrespected by a well-known music producer after going into the studio with him to record material for an upcoming album in 2011. After some time, and naturally not seeing any money come his way, he refused to continue. Threats were exchanged back and forth. Things became so volatile, and Craig became so fed up with the situation that he thought the only way to resolve the issue was to take the person out before they took him out. Craig never mentioned any names, However, many believe he was referring to Puffy. Divine intervention came into play one day when Craig found himself sitting in a car with a gun in his lap. He decided against what he had every intention of doing after turning on the radio to listen to a hip-hop station, and instead, he heard gospel music blaring from the speakers. He believed that it was God talking to him. He broke down crying and asked for forgiveness. He not only decided against taking someone's life, but he also decided it was time to leave New York. That day in that car, listening to the radio, Craig also heard a voice he felt could help him find the salvation he was looking for. That voice belonged to Brother Stare. Shortly after reaching out to him, he packed up and moved to South Carolina. Craig was also asked about the horrific allegations against Brother Stare. His only reply was that he would forgive him because we forgave the people that killed Jesus. Ralph Gordon Stare passed away on April 3rd, 2021. Hip-hop DJ and record producer DJ Scratch attended Craig's memorial service organized by Alvin Toney in New York. Afterwards, he posted on his Instagram that it was a very weird experience because he had never been to a funeral of a famous person before, where he was the only famous person to show up. Later, it was revealed that Puff did offer to pick up the tab for the funeral expenses, but the religious community he belonged to declined. Apparently, none of his friends or colleagues were permitted to attend the funeral. However, that didn't extend to the memorial service. His final resting place is in the Overcomer Cemetery, located on the compound. Craig is survived by his wife and 2 adult children. A mixtape titled That's My Word, put together by DJ Tape Deck King, was released posthumously in August 2018. Many of the tracks were meant to be on Craig's comeback album, slated to be released in the summer of 2000. However, the summer came and went, and nothing more was heard about the project. It would go on to win the Mixtape of the Year award at Bout Dat Online's Audio Dope Awards. A documentary titled When God Comes was also in the works at the time of Craig's death, featuring the rapper and his relationship with Overcomer ministry leader Ralph Stare. Other artists such as Long Island rappers Biz Markie and both members of EPMD were also expected to make an appearance. Around the 1-year anniversary of Craig's death in 2019, the director announced that it would be done in a couple of months. However, as of the making of this video, it has not yet been released. A little unknown fact about Craig was that he was also working on new music at the time of his death. Childhood friend Eric Sermon wrote on Twitter that he was just finishing up Craig's forthcoming album. Hopefully, one day, fans will be able to experience his final work of art. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and comment. Also, don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications so you won't miss any future videos. See you next time!